Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have some pretty interesting news where it does kind of go and show that it seems like nature is a little bit healing. We've actually been seeing a little bit more reports now of some even more brand new walk-in locations, some also PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, and also even Switches too as well, and also we've been seeing even more other various also people confirming that there has been some stock floating around. Now, we actually have been kind of watching this, at least for more on the online side, for quite some time. So the fact that we're actually seeing even more on the also in-store side, very cool to go and see. We've also, as I mentioned, have been seeing a lot more reports of it, so it actually might be worth checking throughout these next few days, as well as we try to finally find more information for us to just kind of know what's going on with it in the first place. So a lot of stuff to go talk about, a lot of things to go bring on up, and as well, I think it's also kind of nice and good news too as well. So first and foremost, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on, as well for the brand new PlayStation 5 giveaway. Amazon links down below for the PS5 Digital Console Controller. Twitter and Twitch room as well, link down below, and sign up for that Weeble, sign up for that Coinbase, sign up for that Twitter giveaway down below, and let's go and dive into the video itself. Now, this one's a little bit more of an intriguing one because it actually now goes into a store that's pretty much all around the world itself. We've mentioned them up on our videos in general. I should probably even pull it up here really quick over here on this, but this is basically like all over the place. So there should actually probably be quite a few different store locations and everything else mixed on in. So let's go and kind of more so I guess talk about this in general. So this is in regards more to 3 different store locations. We've kind of brought up on our channel, we'd also been waiting, and it's kind of on the overdue side for online drops. This is in regards to Kroger, Smith's, and as well when it comes to Fred Meyer's. So we've kind of talked about them a lot. We always kind of mention them in the day-to-day videos, and we haven't been seeing too much news, although ever since a little bit of a Reddit post actually went kind of pseudo-viral / got a lot of attention, and we've also had a lot more of an influx of people checking out stores, calling stores, etc., there actually does seem to be that there's actually a lot more stock available up in stores themselves. So let me go and show you guys up over here. We actually had a Reddit thread over here from a Caltheon who actually had a nice little snazzy post saying, "Love my local Smiths and Kroger." So first and foremost, few things to mention on this. As you guys know, we've actually seen a lot. Like back in the day, we used to see a lot of Fred Meyer and Kroger walk-ins. Although, kind of on the same boat of like Myers and BJ's wholesalers, we haven't really seen much throughout the past, like I'd say at this point, like 10 weeks or so. So we've been just on the, first of all, overdue. So this is at the point it's overdue stock. So seeing this and seeing more stock in stores is a pretty, like, I'd almost assume it's almost weird if we didn't actually see it. So now, we have now confirmation. You guys can even see on the Reddit post itself, we're seeing the information on it. We have now been seeing PlayStation 5s, Xbox Series S's, Xbox Series S bundles, and also Xbox Series X's and Switch OLEDs and all that stuff being available up in the stores. I mean, obviously, you guys can see a nice little picture on here on the bottom over here. And as well, ever since we've seen this, we're seeing a little bit more of an uptick when it comes to Twitter, as well as also I think even a few people in the Reddit comments themselves are kind of bringing it up too as well. So first and foremost, Kroger's kind of getting that clutch. And if you guys don't know what these stores are, it's a mixture of 3. And typically whenever one has gotten stock, we've seen like throughout the next week or 2 weeks of other locations getting stock. So this would be in regards to Fred Meyer's, which is over in the like West Coast side. Also don't mix it up with Myers themselves, 2 separate companies. But Fred Meyer's is on like the Seattles, the Portlands, etc., etc. Then you have Kroger's, which is more on like the Midwest-ish type stuff, so think like the Chicagos, etc., etc. And then there's also we also have Smith's too as well. So a big reason why they all kind of get stocked at the same time, they're all a part of like this. It's, I think the big story, we've kind of covered this before, but I think the big story is the fact that like they were brothers at some point, so they had like 300 stores at some point, then they split them 50-50, so some are Kroger's, some are Fred Meyer's, and they're kind of like all the same stuff. But ever since we've seen this post too, first and foremost, the post itself is saying like, hey, oh my god, I finally got my console. That alone, you know, it's always big, because you obviously have the picture proof and you know it's in the stores. But ever since then, the past like 2 days, we have seen a bigger now uptick of it. Just more so as I've been doing research as of now. This is like all these new information from me. I finally see more reports of it for you guys. But we actually have been seeing other folks now checking their local stores, checking their local Kroger's, and they have been either having stock on the shelves, kind of as you guys can see like right here, either on the shelves or in the back rooms. So if you guys want to check your local stores, if you guys are members or like live near it, it's probably worth checking throughout these next few days, and especially up probably on the weekend itself. So that's a pretty good thing when it comes to stock. So what it means the PlayStation 5s. They usually haven't been doing too many PS5 digitals. We never really saw that many besides in Fred Meyer's. That was only a little bit of a sporadic hit. So PlayStation 5s, I believe, are now starting to show up once again more up in stores. Very nice to see. Xbox Series X's as well should be showing up in stores as well. Very nice to see. Now, as I kind of up on stuff here too, as well, if you guys want to look through, say, like Kroger's. Good example over here is that there's, I think, a few of them even up in, like, say, Illinois itself. Like, we're seeing a few Kroger's. And I think they're all around the country too as well. Like, this is, I think it's just not necessarily updating for it. But there is quite a few different other Kroger's, I think, a lot in the Midwest. If you guys look through over here too, like for like, this is like a lot of like Fred Meyer's. I mean, you can even look, you see how I even have like Kroger store, and then it has all these other ones too as well, like Kroger, like Kroger in Fred Meyer's. Basically, like you see all these stores, like there are a lot of these locations are basically spots where there is stock available too as well, like the Fred Meyer's, Kroger's, etc. So there's just a lot. They're spread out all over the place. Depends on the area, depends on locations, etc., etc. I believe there's also maybe their own third or fourth brand too as well. Maybe the food for more too. I had to do a little double check on that, because you even see they're pretty much everywhere. They're all spread out throughout the entire country. Some states obviously do not have them. I mean, it's kind of like how whenever I go talk about Myers, in the Midwest, sometimes the states just don't have them. Sometimes they don't have the stock. But just letting you guys know, we have been seeing a bigger influx too as well. And they actually kind of have a little bit of a good point too, because if you guys kind of go through some of the Reddit comments too as well, is that like you see some stuff like, aren't they only for food? But like, no, we have other stuff. We have these in Washington, but they're branded as Fred Meyer's, huge department stores too as well. And some of the more intriguing things too is, funny enough, was when it comes to stock in general. So this is actually saying what's more for the weekend itself too as well. And yeah, so basically we're saying like, the Xbox Series X's and PS5, so no Soprano over there too as well, but a pile of Switch stuff left mixed on into and on top of that. And then also, you can kind of see. So, but we've been seeing just more influx of it. Like, we've been seeing more people checking stores. We've been seeing more people getting stock. We've been seeing more people getting all the hookup and stuff like that. So I'd probably say times we're expecting. As I mentioned, we usually kind of see like whenever stores start receiving stock and like just getting stock overall, it kind of spreads out. So a good example will probably be like Myers, where we've actually been seeing some states throughout the past few weeks getting stock, and then like the next week there's even more stock out there. And as well, since they're all kind of regional, it kind of depends on the stuff, we'll probably be seeing more stock probably thrown in throughout the next 2 to 3 weeks especially. So this weekend, we'll probably be watching a lot of Mother's Day sales, a lot more people like to go in stores, so a lot of places always like to have additional tech restocks. And like I said, even for like BJ's on the wholesale side, they usually gonna have like a 3 to 4 week period where it's just kind of sporadically spread on out. Or if you also think, say, like Targets or Best Buys, it usually seems like it's a 2 to 3 week period as well whenever stock flows on in. So it's just intriguing to go and see. Because also a lot of the comments too even were like, hey, like when I was first trying to get my consoles, we actually covered up a lot of these walk-ins too, if you guys remember or checked my channels a few months ago. But like these places actually do get a lot of stock. And sometimes like you don't see many people tweeting about them or mentioning them, or same thing how I don't really see a lot of the other restock people mention stuff, like say for Meyer updates or BJ's wholesaler updates. Like I feel like I'm like the only one who kind of does that. But when it comes to that stuff, just because not as many people are aware of the stock and stock ongoing with it, it kind of gives them a lot more options, a lot more chances to go and get some stock. So it's looking good. Like I do like the idea of this. It's probably worth checking your stores. I would always going to say though too as well, if you guys want to check, always do it in a combination of if you're getting groceries, if you have to pick up some stuff, if maybe you're bored, maybe you're driving by it after work, or you're picking up dinner or food or whatever. That's kind of always kind of a good vibe. That's like first and foremost. Part 2 as well as always, if you guys need to, I think people are more receptive on calling. So if you guys call the stores maybe throughout the weekend, maybe not especially this weekend because it's Mother's Day weekend, so they're probably gonna be swamped either way. But if you guys do a quick drive-by, pick some flowers, get some wine for your mom, whatever it is, maybe go swing by and ask and see. And as always, as you guys even saw in the comments, sometimes the Xbox and PlayStations do move a little bit quicker, but when it comes to stock, we have been seeing more reports of it. I saw some more tweets on it too as well, so it does kind of seem like, as I was doing a little bit more research and digging, that they were kind of floating around and a little bit more out in the wild. So it does seem good. Like, it does seem like this is kind of getting back in the fray. It's been around like 9-10 weeks since we've been seeing even more stock with it, so the fact that we're seeing stock and looking at stock and seeing people buying consoles and all that stuff should be a nice little buy for all of you guys. So as I mentioned, like all the Smiths, Kroger's, Fred Meyer's, all that stuff. We're also probably expecting too some online restocks. They've also had some app drops too as well. We also even saw them do that a decent bit for the Xbox Series X, Halo Infinites too. So we've been seeing movement, like we've been seeing stuff floating around. So a lot of good stuff, a lot of good potential. It's probably gonna be worth to keep on checking throughout these next few weeks especially. And as I mentioned, kind of as the stock kind of slowly keeps on allocating on out, more and more stores will keep on getting them. So if we see more stuff, we'll let you guys know, but it's a bit more on the drier side for restock. So I figured to give you guys some info for this one. Just want to say I appreciate you guys all so much for watching. Make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on as well for the brand new PlayStation 5 giveaway. Amazon links down below for the PS5 Digital Console controller, Twitter and Twitch room as well down below, Weeble and Coinbase down below, and all the other various good stuff as well. I appreciate you guys all so much for watching, and we'll give you guys more updates throughout the week as we see more stuff. Love you guys.